Welcome to Formula 7 Racing. We are live for the realistic division. I'm just going to jump into a party, as I always forget. So we are here for the Austrian Grand Prix. I see a Sauber nearly crossing to an Alpine there. Wow. I think that was Toggio, but they're both on laps. I think Toggio has pulled over or crashed. I think he's just slowing down for a bit of space. So I think it will be... Oh, Gennadi's back into the pit lane. You go, Jeffy. So, I think he has a qualifying ban. He does. So Gennadi does have a qualifying ban. Let me just see if I can invite Jay now. What's going on, Jeffy? Be right, Nick. How are we all? So, Stellan is back, unfortunately. No, I'm just kidding. Dystopian is on a lap in the Racing Bull. So I just need to get the wheel track map up. So Dystopian a 104.8 for him. So there's two different Austria track maps. One with 4 corners in Sector 1 and one with 3. And it always throws me off because the 2025 version that I got here is 3 corners. But then the other ones that I see is 4 corners because it's just... I never know which one it is, you see. So, Dystopian coming down towards Schlossgold. I'm sure. I don't think it is this one. Because I'm pretty sure Austria has 10 turns. That's it. There we go. So, Dystopian did set a lap. Stellan with a 105.1 in the Aston Martin. Deadly a 104.7 goes fastest in the Alpine and in front of the Racing Bulls. That could be crucial coming to the end of this qualifying session in Q1. That might be a bit of a tasty battle going on. So CJ 3000 invalidates it coming around Red Bull Mobile at turn 10. So CJ 3000 invalidates. And we do have Ifni in the Williams on an outlap. So interesting stuff. So Super Turbo upgraded to the Mercedes here this evening. We'll see what he can do. But he's already invalidated it. So Super Turbo has invalidated it. That's not a good start because that'll be so annoying. Jeffy Boy in the Red Bull is also on a lap as he comes up towards turn 3. So through Ramus, Sector 1 is purple for the Red Bull of Jeffy Boy. Down the DRS straight towards Schlossgold. Yellow flags waving, that is Blaze Hunter that has finally got in. There is yellow flags and there's a couple of cars in front. They're just pulling off to the side. That's the Aston Martin and then the kick Sauber of Mitch is just ahead of the Red Bull driver. And Jeffy will be really focusing now as the Sauber moves out of the way. Nicely done from the drivers, well aware. So in towards the Lint at turn 9. And then towards Red Bull Mobile at turn 10. Takes the wider line, dives into the chicane. Down towards the line for Jeffy in the Red Bull. And it is a 104.4. And it is fastest so far. So CJ is going again. So is Super Turbo. But it will be CJ first. So the other Red Bull driver of CJ 3000 we will see what he can do as he comes around turn 7 at Verf Curve, and then over the apex at turn 8, just hugging the chicane there. Around Rint at turn 9, down towards Red Bull Mobile at turn 10, and then we head a short run up towards the start-finish line, and it is P2 1045, so very competitive between the Red Bull drivers. Here comes Super Turbo. What can the Mercedes do? Up to P5, and that is behind Dystopian and Deadly. He won't be happy with that. What about Mitch in that kick Sauber? Remember, these are short laps, so the drivers can box off quite a few attempts at getting a decent qualifying lap. Blaze Hunter has left. So Mitch up to P7 in that kick Sauber. He will be scrapping to get out of Q1. Todd Joe has invalidated it. Hopefully he can still go out for a lap. Goldman's in the Racing Bull. He is getting ready. There is talk of transfer switches mid-season. Thank you so much, Maxi. Really appreciate that, mate. 24 months he subscribed for. So really appreciate it. So, Goldman's and Todd Joe. Todd Joe will be first in the Alpine. Maxi Block after getting a P2 last week in a Haas. Yeah, Jay, 1 second. If you're listening, I will send you one on PlayStation. So, Todd Joe in the Alpine coming around turn 8, down towards the Rint at turn 9. And a little hesitant as Todd Joe came through there, but he kept it valid, and it's a clean lap from the Alpine, and it is up to P8 and in front of the Williams of Ifney. Goldman's did invalidate it, so he will be kicking himself. Banter Brandon in the Williams this evening, teammate of Ifney alongside him. So in towards Remus at turn 3. And then that rear wing will just open up, and they'll get a bit more speed as we go down towards Slosh Gold at turn 4, the right-hander. It'll be interesting to see what the Williams can do. They will definitely be fighting to get into Q2. You can see Banter Brandon already fighting with that car. So, yellow flags, that'll just be drivers moving out the way, drivers pushing as well. Oh, how's he kept that valid? He took a huge chunk of the apex there, Banter Brandon, but he kept it valid somehow. So in towards turn 10 for Banter Brandon, a little slip, but he keeps it valid. He holds onto that car, and it's up to P8 and in front of Todd Joe and Ifney, and that could potentially get him through to Q2. Goldman's has invalidated it again. Lewis is coming through sector 1. The Ferrari in P12. You've got Fanfinus in the Mercedes, who will be next. So where will Fanfinus put it? Down towards the line, and Fanfinus goes fastest to 103.8, the championship leader with 4 victories under his belt already this season. Has gone top of the timing boards in Q1 with 8 minutes remaining. Maxi Block is out, and his Ferrari teammate is just behind him. And then Lewis W in the McLaren just coming out of Slosh Gold at turn 4. You've got Jack in the Haas also just started his flying lap. But the Ferrari coming around Rint at turn 9, down towards turn 10 at Red Bull Mobile. Over the apex, down, and it is a slow lap from the Ferrari driver. I think that was just another out lap, so he will go again. Jack C in the Haas, and there is a McLaren of Lewis W around turn 9 and in towards 10, the double right-hander. And that was pretty clean from the McLaren, and up to P2 behind Fanfinus, but still a very nice lap indeed. So, Jack in the Haas, he will try his luck next. So this time around, Jack back into that Haas seat, and it's Maxi. Oh, and he has a huge snap coming out of Int, and that will cost him. So he'll have to go again. I mean, he's got a load of battery, so maybe weren't even pushing. Maxi Block in the Ferrari, finally going to get some timings on the board. Mirko, thank you so much, mate. 245 bits. Huge shout out to Mirko. He's absolutely killing it with them bits. Really, really appreciate it, mate. Maxiblock up to P8, but behind Dystopian in the Racing Bull. The Ferrari goes P1 at 1:03.6, a great lap in Q1. And then B right in the McLaren, just starting his flying lap with 6.5 minutes to go. Jay is finally in. Let's go. Thank you so much, Mirko and Maxi. In towards Ramus at turn 3 as he just hugs the apex. And then down the DRS straight. Rear wing open in towards Slosgold at turn 4. The Papaya McLaren with that chrome livery. Around turn 5 and down in towards the Roch at turn 6. The left-hander. And you just got to ease off that throttle and then back onto it as we go into Verf curve at turn 7. Over that curb at turn 8 and then down towards the Rint at turn 9. And the Papaya McLaren will move all the way to the left. And you can see the car trying to drag itself over. But this is a pretty neat lap from the McLaren driver down towards the line. It's a 1:03.9 and it's up to P3. So 3 drivers already into the 1:03s. A Ferrari, a Mercedes and a McLaren. Todd joined the Alpine. He's going to have to try and improve. Jay is finally in his seat. Blaze Hunter joined and then left. But that means that nobody else can take that seat now if he's joined and left. And he's not even online now. So, yeah, he just joined and then left, and that was it. But because he's done that, nobody else can take that seat now, which is frustrating. So, Todd joined to the pits. Goldman's is back out. The V-Cab. So, we'll ride on board with the Racing Bull. And we'll see if he can get into Q2. We know the Racing Bull is... just been struggling. Oh, he's invalidated it again, Goldman's. He is not having a great start to this qualifying session here at the Red Bull Ring. And Goldman's was going to have to find something with 4 minutes to go. Interesting. The Racing Bulls have had a tough start to their campaign here in Season 7. A really tough start to their campaign. I know it's only going to get better for them. But Goldman's, I mean, Mirko has been the one to shine, really. But the reserve drivers that have stepped in when they've been needed, they've cost the team a little bit of money for the Racing Bulls. And especially for that engine wear for these drivers, they have really... peppered the engine wear for Goldman's and Mirko. So hopefully Dystopian can turn it around and get a decent result for that Racing Bull team this evening after his DNF last week. So Goldman's, we ride on board with him once again. I'm good, Malk. How are you, mate? Evening, Stellan. Oh, and he's run it wide again, but he's kept it valid. But he must have had to slow down quite considerably to get that lap to stay validated. So it's how much did he lose to keep a validated lap? But it's either that or invalidate it again and go all the way around even into the pit lane. We shall see. Let's see what Goldman's can do down towards turn 4. I'm just going to look at the timing boards and see if I can see what sort of lap time he is doing. So he's currently P17. His sector 1 was a 16.3. And I can't see what the other sector times were. I can only see like pluses and minuses. He has got 4.2 laps of fuel on board, but he is back into the pit lane. I will look at your sign up, no problem, mate. Attempt slower than anything in the first sector. Cheers, Stellan. So, that is it. 2 minutes to go. Goldman's going to have to get in and get out, and Jack has invalidated it for his flying lap. So he's going to have to save that fuel, save that DRS, go back round, empty the fuel tank a little bit, and then he's going to get one more crack at this. Jay is on his way out. So the two Haas drivers looking at being eliminated in this first qualifying session are both now on out laps. Goldman's is still in the pit lane. Are we going to see him come back out to try and get into Q2? Ifni at the moment is the driver at risk. He's also on an outlap, but he is going to be on the limit of elimination. Tojo potentially as well, but everybody above that could be safe. I would say Banter Brandon potentially with if Goldman's comes out of the pit lane. If he stays in, which I think he is doing, then Banter Brandon is safe. No, Goldman's is on his way out. Here he comes. So Goldman's is on his way out, so Banter Brandon will have to find a little bit more as well. He is now on a lap. Here comes Tojo, who's 3 tenths up. He is improving. This is going to be close to Banter Brandon's time. The Alpine, could Tojo get through in a struggling Alpine here in Austria? Down towards the line we go. And Tojo stays P14, although he does massively improve. He's a second quicker than Ifni, who is half a tenth up on his lap time. He's got Jack just behind him. You've got Jay in the Haas just starting his flying lap. Goldman's is on an outlap. 50 seconds remaining here in Q1. Banter Brandon in the Williams, but it will be Ifni first. He is 3.5 tenths up. He is finding improvement, but how much can he find? He needs to get another 7 tenths in this final sector. We don't know what happened previously. Maybe he had a slow turn 9 and 10, and if he gets it right this time, he could find that improvement. The Williams comes around the final chicane, down towards the line, and Ifni stays P15, but for how long? Jay and Goldman's is still on an outlap. You've got Tojo, you've got Banter Brandon to the line, who does improve as well, but stays P14. It's going to be Jay's in the house, who has been absolutely phenomenal this season. But his teammate Maxi Rock, who has stepped up to Ferrari after his podium in a Haas car last weekend, absolutely warranted moving up. So here comes Jay out of turn 10 at Red Bull Mobile, down towards the line. Jay does get through up to P11. Banter Brandon is now your driver at risk, and it is Goldman's that will be the final driver to the line. Tojo is out, Ifni is out, Banter Brandon is on the brink of elimination, but it depends on what Goldman's can find here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Let's take a look. Goldman's around turn 7 we go. He wants to take a nice line through here, a little bit wide for Goldman's. He is struggling with track limits in towards turn 7. At Verve Curve, through turn 8, down towards the Lint at turn 9. Goldman's in the Racing Bull, the home of the Red Bulls here in Austria. Oh, and he's lost it. Into the wall he goes. Goldman's is out. Banter Brandon is through. Mr. Reese has just gifted 5 subs. That's got a total of 20 gifted subs to the channel. Mr. Reese, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, mate. Massive thank you. Honestly, it goes such a long way. Thank you so much. So Jack makes it through in the Haas. Both Haas's make it through. Banter Brandon has made it through in a Williams. Brilliant stuff. So apparently Ifni and Banter Brandon had a coming together in the Williams. So that is it for the end of Q1. It is the Ferrari driver that tops the timing board. The Mercedes of Fanfitness in P2. B Wright in the McLaren in P3. Then comes Lewis W in the McLaren P4. Jeffrey Boy in P5. But it is the bottom 5 that we want to talk about. It is in P19. Gennady with that qualifying ban. Goldman's in the Racing Bull in P18. The Williams of Ifni in P17 that is going out. Tojo in the Alpine goes out in P16. But it is Banter Brandon in the Williams that goes through. And also Jack in the Haas. A brilliant drive from him to make it through. Super Turbo in the Mercedes in P13. Jay in the Haas. Maxi in the Ferrari in P11. They'll want to find a bit of extra pace there. Stellan in the Aston Martin in P7 as well. Mitch in the Sauber in P8. That's some great qualifying for them. Yeah, Mirko, they did. I sent a thanks to you, mate. Thank you so much for the bits. They went through just before... they went through just after Maxi subscribed. So, yeah, thank you to all of you guys. Honestly, it goes such a long way, genuinely. Honestly, you don't need to do that, Mirko. Honestly, you don't. But thank you so much. Because genuinely, it really, really does go a long way. Like with Mr. East, Maxie, you already in this stream, it just goes to such a good cause. I mean, and that's why we can keep doing what we do. That's why we can keep sending trophies around the world every single season. We do 2 seasons every game cycle, and we're able to send 13, 14, 15 trophies every season around the world because of you guys, because of the community. So you guys make it all possible, so thank you. So a couple of the drivers already out of the pit lane. One of them, CJ3000 in the Red Bull, leads the way. So interesting here at the Spielberg circuit. So the Red Bull getting ready for his Q2 run. Around turn 9 in towards turn 10. CJ3000 here at Formula 7 Realistic. Down the pit lane we go and on to the first of the runners here in the second qualifying session. In towards Niki Lauda curve at turn 1. And then that DRS will kick in. The rear wing will open. And as we go slightly uphill towards Ramus at turn 3. And the Red Bull driver cuts right over the apex, and CJ... So it is Deadly that takes the reins. And he will be the first driver to come through and set his lap. In towards Red Bull Mobile at turn 10. And then we go down towards the start-finish line. And it is a 104.6 for Deadly. And then we do have an Aston Martin of Stellan who has invalidated it. And the Haas of Jay will come to the line. And Jay goes a 105.6. A couple more drivers coming down towards the line as they just start their flying laps. The other Haas of Jack coming through the double right-hander in sector 3. And he will be the next driver towards the line. It's a 105.8. The two Haas drivers very close in timings. Jeffy Boy in the Red Bull. Next up to P2, but behind the Alpine of Deadly. Wow, so not as quick as you would have thought. Mitch is on an outlap. Then you've got Deadly also on another lap. Stellan in the Aston Martin, I think, is on another flyer after invalidating his first run. So we'll see what they can do as they come around at turn 6 and 7 at Verf Curve. Can the Aston Martin put any more improvement down and get into Q3? We'll see. I think he's on a slowdown lap, actually. Is he going back into the pits? He is. So, who is going to be next? CJ's invalidated it. Mitch is on a flying lap now. Dystopian in the Racing Bull is on another slowdown lap. He is. So, it will be Mitch in the Sauber. Just 2 seconds, guys. Sorry guys, just seeing what's going on. Oh, Mitch slides it through Niki Lauda curve at turn 1. But he is in front of both of the Haas drivers, which is a big achievement for him at the moment. The Ferrari of Reese is now on a flying lap in Q2, 9 minutes remaining. So I will have a look in a minute. So Reese went fastest, and then Fanfinus in the Mercedes went quicker again, a 103.8 with 7 minutes remaining here in Q2. Lewis W in the McLaren goes up to P3. Super Turbo's a little bit quicker in that other Mercedes now. Max Block in the Ferrari, a 105.0. And both of the Hasses are still in the top 10, but you've got B Wright, CJ, and Stellan still to come through. And I think it will be CJ first. So what will CJ do? Around turn 9 and 10. And CJ in that Rebel, he's going to be in the 105.5s. Wow. B right in the McLaren. Stellan will be next in the Aston Martin. He goes up to P5 in front of Deadly, Jay, Jeffy, and Maxi. So a big lap from the Aston Martin driver. Let's see what B right can do in the McLaren. So be right. A 104.2 for the McLaren goes up to P3, but behind the Mercedes and the Ferrari in Q2. So, Stella up to P4. Sorry, guys. Just give me 2 minutes. My tea's just arrived, and I'm trying to get ready for the race. Sorry, guys. I'll try and finish that off later. I do apologise. I hate doing that. But I waited all day for some food. So, Deadly in the Alpine, coming around turn 4. Let's see what he can put on the board. He's currently in P8, which, of course, would get him into Q3 as it stands. Brandon in the Williams has just started his flying lap. He's going to try and get through. Mitch is on an out lap. Jack starts his flying lap in the Haas. So, Deadly. Alfie, I don't know what you're going on about, mate. I don't understand why he came in and then left realistic. So, Jays is improving. Dystopian. Banter Brandon goes up to P12. It is not going to be enough. So, the Williams driver, who did a splendid job, is going to be out in Q2. Dystopian in the Racing Bull. Who else is coming around? We do have, that is CJ, who's gone purple, sector 2. Oh, he's invalidated it, but he might be enough to get through anyway. Maxi Bock is in the pit lane. The Ferrari driver of Maxi, the checkered flag has waved. And he is taking chances here, Maxi. We've got the two Haas drivers coming through of Jay and Jack. Well, Max, after getting a podium last week in one of these Haas drivers, promoted to Ferrari. We'll see what he can do. But here comes Jackie, goes up to P11, so he will be out. Here comes Jay in the other Haas, up to P9. The Ferrari is on the brink of elimination. Can you believe it? Mitch is invalidated. He will be out. Dystopian will be next, but it will be Jeffy coming round. Dystopian in the Racing Bull will be first in towards Red Bull Mobile at turn 10. Dystopian down towards the line. Dystopian is through. Jay is now on the brink with Banter Brandon and Jeffy. Here comes Jeffy out of turn 10 to the line. Jeffy boy is through. And Jay is out. Max is out. Jack is out. Banter Brandon is into the pit lane. And the Ferrari driver who got a podium in a Haas just 7 days ago is out in Q2 in the Ferrari. You see his teammate in P2 is very Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc-esque here in Austria, as Maxi goes out in P12 and Reese scrolls through to P2 and into Q3. So, Fanfiners takes the fastest lap in Q2. Reese in the Ferrari in P2. Then you have B. Wright in P3. Jeffy Boy, Lewis, Deadly, Trubo, Stellan, Dystopian, all through into the top 10. Then you've got Jay in the Haas out in P11, Maxibok out in P12 in the Ferrari, Jack out in P13 in the other Haas, and then you've got 14 is Banter Brandon in the Williams out, and Mitch in the Sauber in P15 after invalidating. So, into Q3 we go. And Dystopian is the first driver on a lap in that Racing Bull. And we'll see what he can do. That is a brilliant qualifying session. The reserve driver out qualifying his teammate and into Q3. Brilliant stuff. And it's a 105.1 for the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls Formula 1 team of Dystopian. Deadly in the Alpine will be next. Oh, is that Stellan? Is that why Alfie's turned up? Because he never turns up, and then he's just turned up now, obviously, because you're racing. I'm guessing that's why he tried to get into the race. Let's not come here and cause trouble, please, guys. Let's just race, watch a good race. So, Stellan in the Alpine, down towards turn 6. And in towards Verve Curve at turn 7 as he hugs the apex. My bad. Deadly around turn 9, and he's running wide. How's he kept that valid? Wow. That was an invalidation if I ever seen one, but Deadly's got away with it, and it's a 104.9 for the Alpine driver. All the other drivers are coming through. Fanfness in the Mercedes. CJ will be first in the Red Bull. So the Red Bull driver, he's riding all over the grass to the line. He does make it to line at 104.0. Wow, Fanfness will come through to hit the 103s. Of course he will. Fanfness, the 4-time race winner this season, at 103.5 goes fastest. Be right, Lewis W. Lewis W has invalidated it. Reese has slowed down, so it will be right that comes through next. The Scuderia pulls off to the side. In towards turn 9 and 10 we go. The 3-time realistic world champion and 3-time tier 1 world champion down to the line. It's a 103.5 as well. 6 1,000ths behind Fanfness. Wow. Stellan's still in the pit lane. Here comes Jeffrey Bott getting a huge slipstream from his teammate. The Red Bull drivers already working together here in Q3. Great teamwork coming out of that Oracle Red Bull garage. What a team principle they must have. So, Jeffy Boy coming in towards turn 6 and down towards Verve Curve at turn 7. Hugging the apex over turn 8. Doesn't want to take too much of that, Jeffy, but he's doing well, keeping it nice and tidy. In towards turn 9 and 10. We watched Reese leave his lap till the very last minute in Tier 1 on Sunday. Is he going to do the same here in Austria? Down to the line, Jeffy at 104.4 goes just behind Super Turbo and into P5. Lewis W in the McLaren is going again, and Reese in the Ferrari is also on another lap in towards turn 9. The double right-hander is among us for the Scuderia over the apex. How's he kept that? It's so clean, it's crisp, it's so much grip, and it's a 103.4, and it is a provisional pole here in Austria for the Ferrari driver. Lewis W in the McLaren took that apex at turn 10 amazingly. So up to P5 for Lewis W. Fanfness has left the session. He said, "That's enough, I'm out of here." All the drivers back into the pit lane. That Blaze Hunter never came back online, so I don't even think he wanted to get into the race. Fanfness has also gone offline. So Reese at the moment is on provisional pole. Just looking over the sector times. What's attack and defence info? Oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's brilliant. So I can have a look during the race about attack summary, the battles they've had, their win percentage, their rating, their overtakes, their penalty point, all in race, their lost positions. That's brilliant. The only person who's, because it's got assists here, so is that ABS and traction off? If they've got ABS and /TCF, does that mean it's off? Because if it does, then it means that one person is using traction control and it's deadly. So I can't see that being right. But yeah, that's really good. So set to 1, 2, and 3. So here comes deadly. So deadly in the Alpine is on a lap. Stellan has invalidated, so he's just moving out of the way of the Ferrari. Of Reese, it's on an out lap as well. So Lewis W is the first of the two McLaren runners that will hit the line around turn 6 and 7 at Verve Curve. In towards turn 8, Lewis W. So Fanfordus did improve, but it wasn't enough. Dystopian up to P7 in the Racing Bull is absolutely incredible. Lewis W is improving. How much can he improve by? Will he go up to P4? He does. The McLaren goes up to P4 and B Wright is down on his lap time, stays P3. So pole position is the way of the Ferrari once more. It's Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren all over again. The same three drivers that have been on pole for the last 4 weeks, I think. And all three drivers are 3-2-1 in the Drivers' Championship, but they'll start 1-2-3 here in Austria. So, Reese in the Ferrari is on pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix. Fanfordus in the Mercedes is in P2 and will start alongside him on the front row. B Wright in at P3 on the second row of the grid. Alongside him is his teammate of Lewis W as they lock out the second row. CJ in the Red Bull in P5 on the third row. Alongside him, the Mercedes of Super Turbo in P6. On the fourth row of the grid, it's Dystopian in the V cab in P7 and Stellan in the Aston in P8. And on the fifth row, it's Jeffy in the Red Bull and Deadly in the Alpine. So, we are on the formation lap. This is it. We're going to go racing. I can't help but feel that it's going to be fireworks here again. I really do. It is going to be absolute fireworks. We've seen the fireworks in Imola. We've seen the fireworks in Belgium. Was it Belgium? So we've seen the Canada. Sorry, we've seen the fireworks in Austin and Jeddah. We've seen the fireworks in Imola. We've seen the fireworks in Shanghai. We've seen the fireworks in Montreal. We now move to Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix. It is like a season of Drive to Survive here, and it's going to be a fantastic Grand Prix to wait. Everybody's got their sides. Everybody's got their supporters and their fans, and everybody's got their favourite drivers. It's like David and Goliath all over again. It's an amazing season to commentate on. There's tough bits, absolutely there's tough bits. But it's been a great start. And hope it continues. So here we go. This is it for round 8. So they all line up. The Sauber will be the final driver on the grid. Not a single DNF on the grid so far. There we go. It's brilliant. Everybody lining up perfectly. So here we are for round 7, round 8, powered by Sim Racing Setups. And it's lights out and away we go. Down towards turn 1. Fanfinis did get a good start, but the Ferrari cuts him off straight away. Beautiful defending by the Ferrari. The Mercedes has to cut over the line, and Jeffy Boy gets a bad exit. Deadly in the Alpine all over him. Mitch is already at 1 place. Stellan is already through. Jeffy now comes around the outside of the V-car. Fanfinis chasing down Reese, going down towards turn 3, where they'll have DRS on the very next lap. Super Turbo is through on CJ3000. Great move from the Mercedes, who's all over the back of Lewis W in that McLaren, going down towards Schloss Golden turn 4. Super Turbo will try and go at the inside. He just backs out, thinks better of it, and the Alpine has gone flying into one of the drivers. I don't know who that was, but I think Banner Brandon was around. I think Jay lost a few places, and now here come both Saubers in towards turn 6 at the left-hander. And there's a Sauber of Gennady who's made up a few places off the starting grid, who's trying not to get involved in all the carnage in front. Ifney and the Williams is down a position. Todd Joy is down 3. Jay has been overtaken by Mitch in that kick Sauber. Jeffy Boy on the back of Stellan. They're all starting to line up. And other than Lewis W, they're all locked in that DRS chain, but the front 3, once again, have just moved away from the rest of the grid. Here comes Fanfinis now with that rear wing open. The DRS will kick in, and the Mercedes driver of Fanfinis will try and make the move on the Ferrari, and he backs out. He backs out of the move. What about Jeffy Boy on Stellan, the Red Bull up the inside of the Aston Martin, and he has got the move done, but he can't get his foot down early enough, and now they do tag, and the Red Bull and the Aston collide, and Dystopian picks up the pieces in the Racing Bull. Mitch is through on Jack as well. The Sauber is through on the Haas. So a lot of battling going on at the start of this race. Wow. So we move back to the front. Let's have a look at tyres quickly. Mediums for the front 4, then the hards of Super Turbo and CJ, then mediums again for the next 4, then hards of Maxi, hards of Jack, hards of Banter Brandon, Goldmans and Gennady, and hards of Ifney. Everybody else on them mediums. Fanfinis will get the DRS, so we'll be right. Down towards Nicky Lauda curve at turn 2. Sorry, at turn 1. And then he'll get that rear wing open again. The Mercedes looks a lot closer this time. Is he going to try and go for the move? Here goes Fanfinis. He's not going to back out this time. The Mercedes driver on that Ferrari is through and into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. So out of turn 3 we go. Stellan and Maxi are going at it. B-Rai is chasing down Reese. He's closing the gap. Fanfinis has got that straight line speed ahead and going in towards Slosh Gold at turn 4. And they are all bunched up, but they are 2.5 seconds in front of the rest of the grid. And the other drivers not able to get any moves done. The battling of this front 3 once again. So down in towards the double right-hander at turn 9 and 10. The Ferrari driver trying to stay with the Mercedes. I'm surprised I've not seen the 2 McLarens go on to different strategies so that Lewis W could potentially help be right in the long run. Same with the Mercedes, but that's exactly what they've done. They've got Super Turbo staying out on them hards to back up the Ferrari and the McLarens when they do go for that undercut. Here comes Reese in that Scuderia. Is he going to go for the move? He is going to go for the move. And in towards turn 3 at Remus, and the Ferrari driver is through on the Mercedes. Well, the Mercedes will get that DRS now back on him as we go down towards turn 4 at Slosh Gold. The Mercedes of Fanfinis is through and back into the lead of the Grand Prix. It's going to be like this for the whole race. I can absolutely guarantee it. It's so hard to shake off the drivers when you're racing around Austria. So the other drivers as well. Maxi is still in P11, struggling to get past that Aston Martin of Stellan, but he gets a good exit out of turn 6. Now we go back on board with the leaders. I don't just want to be on board with the leaders, but it's such an interesting battle. Oh, I don't know what's happened there. So here comes the Ferrari of Reese on Fanfitness again. So Reese in the Ferrari, closing the gap on the Mercedes. Is he going to go for the move? He does. I thought he was going to back out there, but the Ferrari's gone for the move up the inside, and he does get through on Fanfitness. And is he going to get the DRS again? He is. He was waiting to time it perfectly to get that double dose of DRS, and that's exactly what he did. It was a great move from Reese. It's the way he timed it was just beautiful. Maxi did get through on Stellan as well, so he's up into the top 10. Super Turbo in the Mercedes is trying to chase down Reese. So that's something to watch out for. So, once again, the gap is closing. Here comes the Mercedes on the Ferrari. Surely he's not going to try and do it towards Nicky Lauda curve. And then on the front as well, we've got the other Mercedes. Sorry, the Mercedes on the McLaren. And then we've got the Mercedes on the Ferrari. That is Brandon in the Williams that's lost the position. That is Jay that's through. But then there's a Sauber off track. I think it's a Sauber. No, it's a Racing Bull of Goldman's. And then through goes Jay in the Haas. And then the other Racing Bull comes around the outside. Super Tuber is through. Lewis W. But up towards Ramus at turn 3. The Racing Bull of Goldman's has made up the position. Here comes Jay and Ginaldi. The Haas and the Sauber go wheel to wheel. Lewis W. is now scrapping out with the Red Bull, the McLaren and the Red Bull. Lewis has just lost out to Super Turbo, and now CJ is trying to capitalise on that papaya in front. Maxi Block, Stellan, Mitch. Oh, Mitch and the Sauber and the Aston Martin have collided. I think the Aston Martin of Stellan did lose a little bit of front wing there, and he might have to pit. Now here comes Jack in the Haas. It's going to be an early pit stop, and it's basically putting him in to the two-stop strategy. No, he's not going to go into the pit lane. Mitch picks up a time penalty, so does Super Turbo, and now Fanfitness will go back for the lead of this Grand Prix. So Fanfitness in the Mercedes chasing down the Ferrari. Here he comes. The Dutchman is back into the lead once more. B-Right and the McLaren just watching these two fight in front. Are they killing their own tyres whilst the McLaren just looks after his? We'll have to find out later on in this Grand Prix. Reese will come back with that DRS down towards Slosgold at turn 4. And he's not able to get close enough for that move. But the rest of the grid so tightly bunched. You've got Jack and Mitch chasing down Stellan in front in the Aston Martin. Is he going to go for it? No, he's not. Banter Brandon on Goldman. He's also not going for it. So the drivers being very careful. 19 drivers on the grid. Every driver still in this Grand Prix. And that is what we like to see. So that is Jack through on Mitch, the Haas driver, getting through on the Kick Sauber. Back on board with the leaders. Down the DRS straight towards Nicky Lauda curve at turn 1. Lewis is into the pit lane. He's going for an early stop. Is that strategical or has he got damage? We shall see. Reese is going to chase down the Mercedes. B-Right is really close to the Ferrari this time. Really close. They're chasing down the Mercedes. They're going to go free wide in towards Ramus, and he has to back out, and the Ferrari goes up the inside of the Mercedes, and they leave each other the room. Fanfitness is pushed out wide. B-Right watches them scrap it out in front, and the Ferrari of Reese has made the move once again, and he will have DRS and move back into P1. This is very close racing, but it's racing at its finest. So the Ferrari still leads. What about Maxibok? He's up to P9 now, and he's going to make the move on Deadly. Lewis W. obviously has gone for the huge undercut. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out. B Wright's gone in, so maybe it's not an undercut. Maybe the mediums have just fell off, but B Wright is going to go for the undercut on his teammate. Jack C is out. The McLaren, the Haas driver is out. Where's he crashed it? He's crashed it coming around turn 9 and 10. Look at that. His car is a mess, and the safety car, I think, is out here in Austria. Just as both McLarens have pitted, the Haas driver has crashed. And that means they will all be bunched up once again. So the safety car is out, just as this might kill B. Wright and Lewis W., who just pitted before that safety car came out. We shall see. Maybe actually, he might go into the lead because the safety car came out as he went into the pit lane. So potentially, we'll see. Or he'll just come out in his normal position. We'll have a look. Mitch and Tojo go into the pit lane. Reese and Fanfinus. So Jack C out of the Austrian Grand Prix. So they are all going to go into the pit lane. What about the hard runners? What do they do here? They're going to have to pit, but then they're committed to the two-stopper. So Reese and Fanfinus will go into the pit lane. Both of them very nicely in. Yeah, Super Turbo will pit, but they're going to double stack. The Red Bulls are also going to double stack. Oh, wow, CJ. So the Red Bull, Jeffy Boy's going to lose a lot of time here, double stacking behind. So Jeffy Boy in, and he's got away, and CJ's in front getting them new fresh rubbers on, and there's nothing he can do. It will cost him time. Reese will come back out into the lead of the Grand Prix. And I tell you what, B Wright will be lucky to come out in front of some of these drivers. He's going to find himself at the back. Oh, sorry, that's Lewis W. Sorry, my mistake. So B Wright does come back out in P3, but his tyres are now one lap older. Well, not necessarily. They are, but it was under a safety car conditions anyway. But still, Fanfinus and Reese will have that advantage now, and the race is neutralised. So a great result for the Ferrari of Reese and the Mercedes of Fanfinus. They stayed out. The safety car came out. They're now in the lead with one lap fresher tyres. A brilliant result for the Ferrari. I'm sure inside that visor he will be cheering inside, and so will Fanfinus. They'll be like, this is what we needed. The only problem is they've been bunched back up into the pack, which they would not have wanted at this stage. Super Turbo, especially after getting that penalty. But we've not had a safety car for quite a while, have we? And then the Haas driver went out. So, what are the predictions here? This is going to be really interesting. So let's have a look at the tyres now. So that's what it'll look like. Lewis W has come out in P8, so that did not help him at all, that safety car. I'm just wondering, somebody else went, yeah, it was Lewis W that went for the huge undercut. But still some positions gained for some of these drivers, so not bad. So the safety car will stay out for another lap. You know, if I was like Goldman's or Ginaldi or Ifney or Todjo on the mediums at the back of this grid, I would pit for another set of hards, me. And just try and get to the end of the race, because probably the rest of the grid will have to pit again. Potentially. The hard runners might get to the end, but if you pitted now, I reckon the hards would get to the end, maybe. They would be cooked, but... so the V-carb, Goldman's is P12 and Dystopian is P6 under the safety car. Dystopian is doing really well in that V-carb. So we're going to have the safety car restart, and Fanfurness will be behind Reese. And be right, we'll watch them. So Reese will lead the restart. He will choose and dictate the pace of this restart. He will choose when they want to go. And he'll wait for the perfect opportunity. And the rest will have to follow. And he's straightened up now, getting ready to go into turn 9 and out of turn 9. Puts his foot down where he can get the best grip. And what a restart that is from the Ferrari driver. Brilliant stuff. And the Mercedes 4/10 behind. And look at the other drivers. Here comes Jeffy Boy on Maxi. Down towards turn 1. Up the inside goes the Red Bull. They do collide. The Ferrari is off the track. And Jeffy Boy tried his luck up the inside. It did not pay off, but he'll go again into the slipstream. Moves out to the left-hand side. He'll take the wider line in towards Ramus at turn 3. The Ferrari goes up the inside. They tangle again, the Red Bull and the Ferrari. But Jeffy Boy finally gets in front of the Ferrari. But at what cost? So Deadly and Dystopian are going at it. Deadly in the Alpine trying to get the move on the Racing Bull. And Dystopian staying in P6 momentarily. What about Lewis W in the McLaren? Comes up the inside of Deadly in the Alpine. And the Papaya McLaren wheel to wheel round turn 7. Round turn 8 we go. And the Alpine of Deadly stays in front of the Papaya. Wow. That is great racing from Deadly. That is how it's done. So back to the front runners. This is where the DRS kicks in again. So that DRS, here comes Fanfurness into the slipstream of that Ferrari. Won't be close enough to make the move on this lap. And in towards turn 3. What about Super Turbo on CJ? He's also not close enough. Mitch takes the move on Ginaldi. What about Ifney? Here comes Fanfurness on Reese, and Fanfurness in the Mercedes. He backs out again. They're playing this like a game now, and down the inside goes the McLaren on the Alpine. They touch, and the Alpine's nearly round, and now here comes the Red Bull of Jeffy Boy to pick up the pieces, and Jeffy is through. He'll try and go up the inside, nearly tags the McLaren, but Jeffy Boy is in front of the Alpine, and Deadly is down to P9, but that was extremely close on track. So Ifney picks up a time penalty. What about Fanfurness? Look at him, only 1/10 behind Reese. The Mercedes driver, 21 laps remaining here in Austria. But there's such quick laps, and Fanfurness does go through on Reese. And there's no defending from Reese. He knows it was coming, and there's nothing he could do to defend it at that point. But he'll try and get it back. He'll know he'll get that DRS down towards Schlossgold at turn 4, and this is his opportunity to just pinch it right back out the hands of the Mercedes, and that's exactly what he's going to do. The Scuderia down the inside, and the Mercedes driver, all he can do is try and switch it back up the inside. He does get a good exit out of Schlossgold at turn 4, down towards 5 and 6, but the Ferrari driver just doing enough to defend against that Mercedes behind, and he stays in P1 on lap 15. This is a fantastic Grand Prix. This is what we wanted. Banter Brandon picks up a time penalty. Be right, the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Here comes Fanfurness again. Is it going to be deja vu from lap 15? It is. The Mercedes driver will move through on the Ferrari and back in to the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. And it is going to be like this lap after lap after lap, because Reese is going to come right back at him as we go down the DRS straight. The Ferrari driver will move over to the left-hand side and he'll make the move. Oh, and the McLaren comes and they're going to go 3 wide. The McLaren goes up the inside of the Ferrari. The Ferrari collides into the Mercedes, who nearly takes out the Red Bull. But B-Right is back into the lead of the Grand Prix, but Reese comes up the inside in that Scuderia. And now here comes the Mercedes of Fanfurness that goes up the inside of the McLaren, and the McLaren is now down to P3. And CJ eyes up a little move on the papaya, and Reese is back into the lead. Fanfurness in P2, and B-Right and the McLaren back down to P3, where it all started. So Tojo picks up a time penalty. Lewis W on Dystopian, chasing him down. What about Stellan on Jay, the Aston Martin on the Haas driver? Fanfurness back into the lead of the Grand Prix, like he's been doing every single lap. What about Lewis W on Dystopian? Goes up the inside of the Racing Bull driver. And then back in to the leaders. Reese chasing down the Mercedes, but the Mercedes gets a better exit this time, and I think he'll be able to hold off the Ferrari. He does, and B-Right will try and go the long way round, and the McLaren driver just having to hold it around the outside. And that is deadly. And Dystopian going at it, the Racing Bull and the Alpine, and Dystopian staying in P9. These two have been going at it pretty much every lap so far, but Dystopian stays in P8. Jay on the back of Mitch, Todjo on the back of Ifnit. But the leaders... So, Fanfurness is now your race leader. Maxi Block on the back of Deadly, the Ferrari driver. Maxi is struggling for a bit of speed around here in Austria. Not able to get them moves done like we would usually see. Here comes Reese on the Mercedes driver as they go up towards turn 3. And look how he times it. He waits until the chicane so that he gets DRS down towards turn 4. It's so clever. Fanfurness does move in front, but Reese will have that DRS and he'll take it right back off him. But it's clever what Reese does. It's really clever, but it is very dangerous at the same time. And it can go horribly wrong. Waiting until the last minute and making that move up the inside. You've got to hope that the driver next year is going to play ball and leave you the space, essentially. So wheel to wheel, go the Mercedes and the McLaren round turn 5 and 6. And round turn 7, and they are a second behind Reese, and the battling might have cost them that DRS train. What have they done here? They have essentially let Reese go now. Because they were battling, they've basically give up that DRS train to Reese in front, and they're going to have to do something to catch up now. So back down the board, here comes Stellan on the back of Goldman's. The Aston Martin driver, he's got a lot of straight line speed up towards the nickel outer curve at turn 1. But he's still not close enough, and here's B-Right. Remember, he will have that DRS, and Fanfurness will not, and he does the exact same thing as Reese does, and just makes the move as the DRS kicks in, so that he gets it down towards turn 4, and it's deja vu from the Ferrari to the McLaren, and B-Right is up to P2 as they chase down Reese in that Ferrari. We said they need to... the way they time that overtake is so clever. It's so good. So 1.3 is the gap to from B-Right to Reese, the race leader. And they needed to stay in that DRS train, really. Salute statement ready, yeah. I mean, you can't make a statement every time there's an incident. We're all good. Dystopian picks up a time penalty. That's going to be costly. He's having a fantastic race as well. So it's a real shame to see him get a penalty. So CJ on the back of Fanfurness. Fanfurness half a second behind B-Right, but he'll get that DRS once again. And you, salute, and you. Fanfurness down towards turn 3. And the McLaren just stays ahead of the Mercedes. That's Lewis W on Jeffy Boy, and he gets the move done. And now here comes Fanfurness. Is he going to go for the move on B right? He's not. He's going to stay behind this time. So, patient racing from the two drivers this time around. Jeffy Boy on Lewis W. What about Banner Brandon on Goldman's? The little snap there from the Racing Bull in front. So, you know, CJ and the Red Bull's doing a really good job of staying with these leaders because, sorry, if B Wright hadn't lost the DRS to Reese, he would essentially be in this DRS train. Yeah, Reese has definitely got a little bit more downforce, Mirko. Yeah, you're right. So, out of turn 3, down towards turn 4, the McLaren can see the Ferrari in the distance, and here comes the Mercedes with that extra bit of horsepower up towards Ramus. And he'll get the DRS again down towards turn 4. Nick, what happened? Nothing, mate. Been a good race. Fanfness down towards turn 4. Is he going to close the gap on the McLaren? And a little snap from both drivers. They are closing the gap, though. It's now only 1.1 to Reese in front. So the two drivers trying to get back within that DRS range. And I think CJ will be hoping they do, because when they get back in that DRS train, he gets back within that DRS train. So, yeah, he'll be hoping that they're able to pull it off. Banter Brandon and Jay down in P14 and 15. Ginaudi on the back of Ifney in that Williams. The Sauber driver with that qualifying band starting from the back. Still doing a really good job. It's such a difficult car to drive. Unfortunately, the other Haas driver of Jack is out of the Grand Prix. 1.1 is the gap. And I tell you what, this is going to be close. The McLaren driver is just back in DRS range. And he's done it. They have done it. The McLaren and the Mercedes have got back within the DRS range of the Ferrari in front. But a little snap coming out of turn 3 might have cost him that DRS again. But he got the rear wing open, so did the Mercedes, and so did the Red Bull. So the drivers are now starting to feel the pain of constant lap after lap. I'm just going to look at the system. Them hard compound tyres are on around 45% wear. I think the drivers will have to pit again, especially the medium runners. The medium runners should start to pit any time now. But I can't imagine them hards are going to be able to stay out for much longer. And well, I don't think they'll get to the end of the race anyway. CJ is locked in, man. Lewis W is into the pit lane. So he is going to go back on to a nice set of mediums. So be right inside the DRS range of your race leader. And he is now starting to catch. And Reese just could not pull away from them. And that has really benefited B. Wright. And Fanfurness and CJ has lost a load of time. Has he made a mistake? CJ has made a mistake because he's lost a huge amount of time. So B. Wright now looking for that move on the Ferrari. And the McLaren driver has done a brilliant job. Once Reese usually gets out of that DRS range, it is very hard to get near him. But no, they've caught up to him, and Jay goes past Banter Brandon. The American driver here in Austria is through on the Englishman. What about Ginaudi on Ifney? Here comes the kick Sauber into the slipstream of the Williams, down towards Schloss, go to turn 4, and he just backs out. Around turn 9 and 10, and Reese is into the pit lane, so he is struggling. He's struggling. So, B. Wright and Fanfurness stay out. CJ stays out as well. Reese and Jeffy Boy are into the pit lane. Super Turbo will also stay out. I'm surprised that the medium runners are staying out. There's a lot of drivers now into the pit lane. And here comes Fanfurness, 1/10 behind B. Wright for the lead. But if Reese goes for this undercut, I don't think there's going to be enough laps to have Reese's tyres fall off to catch back up to him. I think the undercut is going to be the winner for Reese here. Here comes Super Turbo on Dystopian and the Mercedes driver, but the Racing Bull is coming back at him, and Dystopian on Super Turbo with the DRS down towards turn 4, and he is back through. Maximot now up to P6, and he wants to get involved as he has a bit of a snap coming out of turn 4. The only problem for Reese now is he's coming in a lot of traffic. He's got Banter Brandon in the Williams, who just gives up the position there, and Reese now has Jay and Mitch in front to deal with. Be Right and Fanfulness do come into the pit lane. They'll come out in probably the same amount of traffic as the Haas driver, just edges out of the way, and Reese is back through again. And then you've got Mitch in the Sauber through to 9 and 10. And it doesn't look like Reese has been held up at all here. It's been a perfect undercut for the Ferrari driver with the DRS on the Sauber. He moves through. And Fanfulness and Be Right will be well behind, but they'll come out just behind that train and they'll get that DRS. Be Right comes out just in front of Jay in the Haas, but behind Mitch in the Sauber. If Be Right can get DRS and get past Mitch, he'll be back with Reese with a lap fresher tyres. That is really interesting. Reese come out on the hard, so did Be Right, but Be Right needs to get through on Mitch and get back within that DRS range. Fanfulness got caught up in the train and he's right in the middle of it. Reese is through on Stellan in the Aston Martin. No messing around from the Ferrari driver. He is a man on a mission here as the McLaren goes around the outside. Oh, and I thought they tagged there, and Mitch just backed out and got and the McLaren just got through. CJ's into the pits as well. Here comes Fanfulness. He's being held up from that kick Sauber driver. And Mitch, nothing he can do. The pace of that Mercedes is too quick. As Be Right will get DRS from the pit in Aston Martin. The Aston Martin in front did pit, but that does give Be Right in the McLaren DRS and resets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We are back in racing order once again. Reese leads 1.9 is the gap to Be Right behind. The tyres are only 1 lap difference. Will that make a difference come the end of the race? Fanfulness, by the way, came out on medium compound tyres. If you're McLaren, if you're the team principal of McLaren, in terms of Jamie here, watching this, surely you turn around to Be Right and say, okay, let that Mercedes through. He's going to be quicker on the mediums. Let's get him up to that Ferrari. Let's stay with him. This is going to be so strategical, and Reese has to think clever here. Reese has to play a game. I think, for me, the Ferrari either has to go for it now or reserve his tyres. There's no in between. He has to absolutely let it go and just make the biggest gap that he can get to, or he has to slow down and save his tyres essentially, so that by the end of the race he can go fighting. Mitch and Banter Brandon, the Williams and the Sauber. The Sauber takes the wider line. The Williams will switch it back in towards turn 6 and 7. They do get close, and Mitch stays in front of the Williams. Jay is into the pit lane. CJ is now back into P4. 2 seconds is still the gap between Reese and Be Right. Fanfulness on the mediums into the slipstream. DRS enabled. Rear wing open to the right hand side of the Mercedes of Fanfulness. The Dutchman is through, and essentially is the Flying Dutchman on lap 27 of 36 here at Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix. It is the Mercedes of Fanfulness that is in P2, chasing down the leader of Reese with Be Right in P3. These are 1-2-3 in the Drivers' Championships, but they're 3-2-1 here in Austria. Jeffy Boy on the back of his teammate of CJ3000. Such a fabulous race to watch as a viewer. Here comes Goldman's on Maxi. Ginaudi is through on Ifney. He does get the move into turn 3. Ifney will switch it back up the inside, and the Williams driver gets his foot down and get the DRS, and surely he'll get the move done on Ginaudi. He will get the move done, and nothing Ginaudi can do about that. He'll have to return the favour on the next lap. The gap now 1.6, but look at Be Right. He is staying with Fanfulness. He'll have that DRS. What does he do going up towards turn 3? As we go slightly uphill, Be Right is going to go for it. The Mercedes seems slow on the straight, so Be Right has to make the move, and the McLaren driver is through. They're only 1.4 behind Reese in that Ferrari with 8 laps remaining. Fanfulness in that Mercedes. Is he going to come back at him with that DRS enabled? He's not. He's going to probably stay behind. He is. Is Reese reserving them tyres? Is he looking after them? They are all pushing that battery though. Here comes Dystopian on Deadly. Dystopian in the Racing Bull is back up to P7, and for probably the 18th time this race, Dystopian and Deadly trade places and have a little fight on track. Banter Brandon on Mitch. Ginaudi on the back of Ifney. The kick Sauber on the Williams. Can he get back through on him like he did on the previous lap? Down towards Schlossgold. He can't. Turn 4 is not the way to do it for Gennady on this lap. Be Right is nearly back within DRS range of Reese. Reese is your leader. He's doing an amazing job here, Reese. The Ferrari driver has done everything that's been asked of him so far with 7 laps to go. And I think Be Right might have got the DRS range. Reese just does not have the pace at the moment. He's struggling, but you don't know what Reese's plan is. His race IQ of Reese is one of the best you will see. His race IQ is absolutely amazing. So that will come into play, and you will see Reese making decisions and things like that throughout the race that you just don't know where he's got it from. But there's always a method in the madness. There's always a plan to Reese's racing. Maxi through on Super Turbo. The Ferrari now up to P9. So there's a lot that the drivers can learn about Reese in terms of his racecraft and in terms of his IQ and his racing. And this is why these guys are leading the championship, because they're all like that. They're such good drivers. Reese is one of the best, and B. Wright is a multiple world champion. Fanfinis is, a former realistic world champion. Reese is is the current Tier 1 world champion. It's just, there's so many accolades between these drivers, and now here comes B. Wright and the McLaren. Is he going to go for it? He doesn't. He backs out. He thinks better of it. And Reese is the leader, but he's now got the other 2 drivers right on his tail. And they'll get DRS again. Both drivers will get that DRS. And now here comes the McLaren. He'll move to the outside of Slosh Gold at turn 4. He takes the wider line. The Ferrari goes up the inside. They do nearly touch, but the McLaren is through, and the Ferrari will chase him down in towards turn 6. Backs out. The McLaren leaves him the room. The Ferrari thinks, no, I'm not going to put my nose up there. And Fanfinis is just watching the front 2 fight. And Fanfinis being on the medium compounds, they're going to be a lot more worn than the drivers in front. He has to stay away from this battle and hope the drivers in front cook up their tyres. Mitch is through on Stellan in towards turn 4, and Stellan is rounded into the wall. The Aston Martin driver has lost his front wing. The safety car's out. Oh my God, the safety car is out with 6 laps to go. Jeffy Boy's into the pit lane. Wow. Stellan has brought out the safety car with 5 laps remaining. And this might have just saved the race for Fanfinis, who was on them cooking medium tyres. Oh, the drivers behind into the pit lane. And the drivers in front will not be happy about this one bit. And Reese is slowing down a lot here. He's now 2 seconds behind B. Wright. Not sure what was going on there. Yeah, we have a drag race till the end. I don't think any of the drivers have fresh tyres. This is going to be brutal. I mean, there's not going to be many racing laps, is there, really? B-Rat does go into the pit lane, so does Reese and Fanfinis, so the front 3 do pit. I didn't expect that. CJ's into the pit lane. I did not expect the front 3 to go into the pits. So, well, they've not used any softs, have they, all race? So all 3 of them are going to go onto softs till the end of this Grand Prix. Wow. Jesus, what a race. I'm not going to lie, I hate a late safety car. It's good if I'm in the race and there's a late safety car. But when you're in tier 1 or realistic and there's a late safety car, I dread it, because we are going to get drivers, they know that the win is within touching distance, and this is where it gets crazy. There's going to be 2 laps. Well, lap 33, and no, you'll have 3 laps, won't you? You'll have lap 34, 35, and 36. Yeah, this will be a sprint to the end. These penalties will really kill people. The one thing that I said to my Red Bull drivers at the start of this Grand Prix was stay away from track limits, because it will get you way up the grid if there's a late safety car, and I can't believe, that's what's happened. letting the lap cars overtake. No, Michael, this is so not right. Yeah, definitely, Mirko. I would not want to be the leader of the Grand Prix going into the final 3 laps. Everybody pitted, they did, but a lot of the drivers were on old tyres, so like Jeffy Boy and Jay and Super Turbo and all that, they're on older softs, maybe ones that they used in qualifying. And exactly, Mr. Reese, that's exactly what I said to the Red Bull drivers. I said, just, stay away from track limits. Is the safety car out for another lap? Oh, that's crazy. The safety car is out for another lap. That's because Stellan's not caught up yet. Oh, that's annoying. So Stellan hasn't caught up, so the safety car stayed out for another lap. That means there's only going to be 1 lap with DRS. 1 lap with DRS. Yeah, so do I, Red. I pray they do. There's going to be 1 lap, and then there's going to be 1 lap with DRS. That's it, till the end. Yeah. I might write a team statement of my own at this point. Salute loves a good statement. Oh god. Jay staying on the mediums. They're on 25%. I think that's a good decision, mate. I really do think that's a good decision. Oh, Deadly's collided with Banter Brandon and got a penalty. So, Be Right will lead the safety car restart. And off he goes out of turn 9, down towards turn 10, and then down through the start-finish line. So Reese is chasing down the McLaren driver, the Ferrari in P2, Fanfitness and the Mercedes in P3. Be Right comes out of the first chicane. Reese picks up a time penalty. Reese in the Ferrari has picked up a time penalty on the final lap. He could lose a podium. Oh my god, he does not deserve to lose a podium in this Grand Prix, but it might just happen. So Be Right leads on lap 35, the Ferrari behind. Then comes Fanfitness. What about Jay and Goldmans? Jay is through. Banner Brandon is through on Deadly. It is all going on at the track, and here comes Goldmans on Jay. The Racing Bull down the inside of the Haas driver in towards turn 4 at Sloshko. Goldmans goes up the inside, and he does make the move, and the Haas is onto the curb, and then through goes Super Turbo in the Mercedes to make the move around the outside of turn 6. And the Mercedes is through. Mitch is on the back of Jay. Then you've got Banner Brandon on Mitch to go wheel to wheel, got the Sauber and the Williams. They nearly touch him through turn A, and he's onto the curb, and the Alpine is coming the 3 wide. Back on board with the leaders. Reese in the Ferrari following the McLaren down through turn 10, and we're on to the final lap. The final lap with DRS as well. Reese and Fanfrenes have all been queuing up behind the McLaren driver for this very moment. Are they going to wait? Are they going to be patient to wait for turn 4? Here comes the Ferrari of Reese. He's got nothing to lose. He's going to go down the inside. Be right will move it, and Fanfrenes tries to stick his nose up the inside. The McLaren driver, Reese, timed it where he wouldn't get the DRS, and they're going to follow him down towards turn 4, and he tries to come through the middle. They do collide. The Mercedes and the Ferrari are back behind the McLaren. The Ferrari has a huge snap, and the Mercedes of Fanfrenes is through, and B Wright is into the lead of the Grand Prix. Fanfrenes down to P2, Reese in P3 with that time penalty as well. CJ in the Red Bull. Here comes Lewis W on the back of Jeffy Boy, who seems to be struggling. Reese is going to try and settle in for the podium, but he might lose it on the line. Here comes Lewis W around the outside of Jeffy Boy in towards turn 9, but B Wright is going to come through, and B Wright comes through to win the Austrian Grand Prix. Fanfrenes in P2 and CJ in the Red Bull takes a podium. So Fanf had damage at the end there. Salute, I'm going to be honest, mate, I didn't see the dive bomb, so you'll have to let me know. From what I've just watched there, I didn't see any dive bomb. But we don't write statements about dive bombs, mate, you know what I mean? Like, there we have it. The top 3 in the championship, finishing that order on the grid. So, let's move on to the standings. So B Wright takes the race victory here in Austria. Fanfrenes will take P2 and the fastest lap. CJ 3000 takes P3 in the Red Bull. Reese takes P4 after picking up that track limit penalty. Jeffy Boy takes P5. Maxi Block in P6. Goldmans takes P7. That was a great result for Goldmans, by the way. P8J in the Haas. That's a fantastic result for him as well. So sorry, I've just got to write this down. Goldman's in P7. Dystopian in P10 as well. That's good. Lewis in P9. Super Turbo in P11. Banter Brandon P12. Gennady P13. Then Mitch, Stellan, Ifney, Deadly, Tojo, and Jack. Yeah, Goldman's a brilliant result, that, mate, by the way. Brilliant result. So my driver of the day for today is going to go to Goldman's. To get all the way up to there after sitting at the back of the grid for so long is just a brilliant race. So yeah. Driver of the day, Goldman's. I don't think CJ... Is CJ on PlayStation? Otherwise, I don't think he can join for his interview. 1 second... So I don't think CJ or Fam can join. So the only person we will interview is the race winner. So we will move on to the interviews for your race winner. B Right, how was that one, mate?
Vamos!
What a race, mate! Wow, that was hectic at the end. Just talk us through that one.
Yeah, a lot went on. They just had to defend the race win, you know. When a driver's got a 3 second time penalty, there's not more much I can do. He's trying to give a slipstream to a driver that's not even his teammate, so he's all over the shop. So yeah, what do you expect?
Yeah, it was a bit of a hectic end to the race, to be honest. Just talk us through the actual race itself. It was a good one
No,
for
good.
you.
Yeah, good. I pace just holding out on the mediums. I wasn't pushing at all. I had probably had the best mediums out of the two of them. I could have stayed out longer, but then I thought I'd go for the undercut because then obviously you can again the undercut strong here. Couldn't quite get it with the safety car yet again. Too many safety cars.
Yeah.
But no, I felt good overall. I don't really feel like I've done anything wrong. If you got two drivers that want to work together, and you're not going to make overtakes, and then all of a sudden you're pushing on me a little bit more, I think it's a little bit unfair. You know, if you're going to battle the guy ahead differently, please give me the same respect. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I hope that everybody was trying to, race evenly and fairly throughout the race. In terms of near the end, obviously there was a lot of action and stuff like that. You had to defend. You went for the move. You had Reese and you had Fanfurners and you went through the middle. There was a lot that happened going in towards turn 4.
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't want the late safety car. Obviously, because you were looking really quick throughout the race. Even when the Ferrari went for the undercut, he came out 2 seconds ahead. You and Fanfurners were able to sort of catch up. So you had a lot of pace and you did well. And just obviously the ending as well there, to keep hold of the win.
Yeah, I mean this is how it is week in week out. Unfortunately, it's not fun. Like I've got Lewis now, like threatening to leave his seat. You know, it's just not me guys at the front. It's also what's going on behind as well. But no, listen, it was good to get a race win. Listen, it's going to be all in the incident rooms again.
Yeah, I
I mean,
expect it now, to be honest.
so yeah, so it's just petty at this point, to be honest. But we keep moving and keep our cool and. I got no issues with anyone, so I'm just trying my best to get back in this championship fight and see what I can get with Fanf. You know, I mean Fanf and Reese are great competitors, but if they yeah, I don't want to say too much, but yeah, let's just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, it was a brilliant race result, a great race all round, mate. So well done and
Yeah.
Congratulations on the victory.
Yeah, come on, cheers. So yeah, hopefully now the championship's back on, and hopefully no penalties from the reports.
Yeah, no problem, mate. Well done, Ben.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers.
We'll just move on and we'll have a quick interview with the driver that finished in P2 as he's finally here. Fanfurness, how was that one, mate? Oh, really? It was yeah, it was a good race all round. Obviously, the ending was a bit hectic. Just talk us through that one. Yeah. Just before you talk about the end as well, Famf. Just before you... Oh, they're saying they can't hear you, Famf. They're saying they can't hear you. Maybe just make sure that you're on share and all that. Yeah, no problem, mate.
Yep.
Right, brilliant. Just before you talk about the ending, before everyone can hear you, just talk about the safety car. The safety car come out. Obviously, you'd chosen to go mediums. Them tyres were falling off really quickly. So were you happy to see the safety car at the end?
Well, sort of yes, sort of no. Um, in the end, um, well, obviously yes, because my tires would have fallen off, but
Yeah.
I was nurturing as well, and I think they weren't even far off what their tires were, so I think it would have been fine at the end, sort of.
I mean,
Of
I
course,
was...
a bit more.
On the system here, it was showing your tyres were quite a bit more worn than the mediums, so I was expecting to see them fall off the cliff near the end. So that's why I was saying, if you were sort of happy to see the safety car, because from what I was seeing, it looked like you would have had an issue at the end. So if I was in your position, is what I'm saying, is I would have been buzzing when I seen that safety car near the end.
Well, of course, yeah, of course the safety car is always nice in that
Yeah.
in that regard. Nothing about that.
No, absolutely. Right, okay, fans, let's get to the nitty-gritties. Talk us about the ending of the race.
Well, I was of course third. Knew it was going to be hard to do, of course, something
Yeah.
in third. And all I wanted was just last lap shootout. Just last lap and all in. That's what I wanted. I knew it was going to happen. So I gave it all. Of course, they were going to go side by side. And of course, I knew there was going to be something in that hairpin corner, like doing a dummy or something on Ben.
Yeah.
Because Ben was in first. And I knew that was critical if Reese did that. He did it. I came alongside. And when the next corner came, I was fully alongside. Ben had nowhere to go. I don't know what he did. He outbraked himself or something. He completely shunted into my car. Gave me front wing damage as well. And yeah, then race is over for the last lap. I'm happy to keep Reese behind and yeah. In the end, yeah.
Keep P2. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, we'll have a look at that as the stewards will have a look at all the incidents and that, mate. But as the races progress, you've taken 4 race victories throughout the season. You still lead the Drivers' Championship. If I'm having a look at it now, without Stewart's involvement, you still lead the Drivers' Championship by 21 points. So still a really good season for you at the moment, fam.
Yeah, still very delighted with that, of course. I didn't know I would have been so high up, of course, going into this, but I'm having a phenomenal form, and I think that Canada race was just a one-off. Just came back even stronger now, and I think it's going to be very nice for the rest of the season. Next week, of course, and Japan's. Look how they come into play at the end. But I think there's not really much in that because, yeah, just see what happens with the rest of the grid.
Absolutely,
I
mate.
don't think I can very much focus on one in the top.
No, well, you've shown incredible pace throughout the season at the moment, fam. It's probably one of the best seasons I've ever seen you start off with. You're leading the championship. You're doing a great job at Mercedes, so well done on another brilliant result, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, fam.
Of course.
Thank you, mate.
And of course, and of course Ben and Reese on the podium.
Well, it's Ben and CJ on the podium.
Oh, sorry, CJ.
Yeah, you're all right. No worries. So well done to all your podium sitters. Be right with the race victory. Fanfordus, your championship leader in P2, and the Red Bull driver CJ getting his first podium of the season. Thank you all so much for watching, tuning in, and supporting us as you always do. Have a great week, everybody. I will see you on Sunday for the next for the tiered Grand Prix. Have a good one, everyone.